College football, gentlemen, is all about first impressions. We get a good look at both Miami and Florida in this one. McElroy, I'll start with you. What are you looking for out of Miami in game one?
I just want to see a philosophy offensively that looks as though they're playing in 2019. Because if you look at what they did the last couple of years, and with all due to Mark Richt and his offensive staff, but they look stagnant. They didn't have a lot of creativity offensively. And now you have a new redshirt freshman quarterback in Jaron Williams, and he is a guy that's a dual threat player. He can create on his own, use his legs. Look, a couple years ago when Brad Kaya was there, they had a pro-style system with a few RPOs. I want to see them transition almost exclusively to spread with RPO-oriented offense. So I think that will be a huge step in the right direction for an offense that felt outdated the last couple years.
Yeah, you couldn't tell if it's outdated or the quarterback play wasn't very good because the quarterback play was not very good. And this offensive line is going to be a question mark. If this young quarterback has a chance to stand in the pocket, look downfield, he has a strong enough arm to make plays downfield. But, Greg, as you know, if you want to go downfield, that's a longer drop. That's longer in the pocket, standing there holding the ball. And, hey, you say he could move? Well, he might have to move because there's some holes on that offensive line. They haven't played well in the past few years either. So, offensively, when you look at Miami, there's a lot of question marks. Their defense has been talented. Their defense creates turnovers, and that's the way they've been able to win football games as their offense has struggled.
Yeah, you know, people forget about Miami last year, start the season 5-0, everything's great, and then all of a sudden the wheels started to fall off a little bit. And when the turnover changed, the most notable thing about your program, that means you've got a really good defense and a suspect offense. We'll see if that turns around this year. Let's switch gears now to Florida. Comes in ranked 8th in the preseason AP. That's their highest ranking since 2010. Galloway, give me a bullet point you're going to be watching with the Gators.
Well, it's all Feleipe Franks. He took a huge step forward in his first season under Dan Mullen. Now can they do it again? P. Ryan is back in the backfield. When they've been able to run the ball, this Florida team's very good. Can Feleipe Franks get to a point where he can carry this offensive team if he needs to do it? Now, no coach goes into a game and says, hey, we would like for our quarterback to have to carry us on his back. But you get in situations, especially when you play very good football teams in the SEC, where your quarterback has to make plays on third downs down the field. If Feleipe Franks can become that guy, then we might be talking about Florida as the team that can beat Georgia in the SEC East.
Yeah, and he does have to do it himself. I mean, Feleipe Franks has really good skill positions on the outside at wide receiver. I really like the contingent of running backs they have. I am a little concerned about replacing 4 of their 5 offensive linemen from a year ago, but I think the offense can be just fine. I just trust Dan Mullen. The reason why Florida won 10 games last year was because of their defense. I mean, their defense was remarkable, so can they replace some playmakers on the other side? And like you said, I mean, Feleipe Franks, one thing that he didn't do a great job of last year was handling criticism. If, in fact, he comes out against Miami and the game is rough early and his offensive line, that new group of offensive linemen, if they struggle, he gets hit a couple times, will he be able to bounce back from adversity? Because there were times last year where he showcased a little immaturity. Now, he was young. He was only a sophomore, so you would think that would be part of the maturation process. But that's what we need to see from him, is that not let the lows be too low and not let the highs be too high. You need to be steady across the board if you're playing quarterback for the Gators.
Yeah, and they're starting off at number 7. And that puts a lot of pressure on this football team to come out and look like a top 10 football team early in the season. Now, last season, they knocked off some pretty good teams. They knocked off an LSU team that was a number 5 team in the country. They knocked off Michigan later in the season in a bowl game. And so when you're ranked in that top 10, a lot of people have their eyeballs on you, and this is the opening weekend. So this will tell a lot of what Florida's been doing since the bowl game till now. Do they deserve to be in the top 10?
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.